Good morning, Justin. How are you
Morning.
today?
Okay, thanks.
Good, good. Thank you for spending some time with us at the Joinery Hour. I really we haven't spoken for a while actually, so I'd like to sort of catch up. But I think the first thing really for the customers and anybody here that doesn't know who Justin is, if you can sort of explain who you are, what you're doing, where you've been, what is your career path, so we can sort of understand who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in, like everybody in this industry, I've been in it a long time. I've been in the timber industry for probably 35 years now. I started my career at Timber back at that time, and then I moved on to James Latham probably 7 years ago. Just needed a career change. Got a really good feeling about the business. Going to Latham's a really strong business. You know, they encourage you, they allow you to grow, they invest in you. And overall, they're just a first-class supplier of everything, really. So it was a no-brainer to move to Latham's. I just needed that change in my career. I was at that point in that midlife, Owen, you know, when you reach, when you think you need something different.
Yeah, we all do that. I think I do that every week, Justin. Okay, so Latham's, obviously a lot of people know Latham's. They're distributed around the UK. Just tell us a little bit more about Latham's, where their distribution centres are, or where can people get product from?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody knows James Latham. You know, they hopefully know they're 267 years old and started in 1757, and still a Latham chairman, and still a majority shareholder, still owned by the Latham family. Big company, over 500 employees now, based on sort of 12 strategically heavy population-based depots. So all the depots they hold in the UK and Ireland are all based in heavy population areas. So they start up in Glasgow, move down to Gateshead, Newcastle, then across to Leeds and Manchester. Then they drop into the Midlands and cover the Dudley and Leicester, the East and West Midlands. Then they've got three strategically positioned around London and the southeast: Purfleet, Thurrock, Hemel Hempstead. One on the south coast at Fareham, and then over at Bristol there's a big depot at Yate. And then of course on top of that they have two depots, in one big one in Belfast and another one down in Dublin. So they have feet in pretty much all camps of the UK.
Covering pretty much every area, which is great.
Yeah.
Because obviously I speak to customers and I always say, well, you know, we introduce you and what products you go. So what are sort of the, I mean, I've been listening to the industry and I travel around like you do, Justin. A lot of joiners are still using solid materials, still using Sapilis, even surprisingly, I dig bows and Irokos occasionally. I see pop up, which is a big surprise to me, but it's still happening. So what are the customers using? What are the trends that you're finding within Latham's?
Well, pretty much the same as you, Owen. We find that a lot of our customer base is still using traditional sawn, what we call RWL, random width lumber, the very traditional methods of joinery. But we are seeing a big switch to engineered wood products as time progresses. Year on year, it's the fastest growing product line in the James Latham portfolio on timber products. So we know it's the right thing, and we are gaining new customers every single year on these products. You know, sawn Sapili, and we see, like I dig bow, and in some geographical pockets, even Utili is still being used and preferred to Sapili. But certainly that's what the customer base is. But, you know, we see the growing sales in engineered wood products year on year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, especially I dig bow has been endangered species for some time. All African hardwoods at some point, I'm assuming, are going to be more difficult to source. Certainly, FSC certified. Is there things happening that Latham's are trying to introduce more materials into the UK that will counterpart this issue?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Latham's take the environment very strongly anyway, Owen, as you know. You know, we probably sell something in the region of about 800 cubic meters of Sapili every month, of which 70% is FSC, and the balance would be legally verified anyway. We don't have a legal timber. But in terms of longevity, you know, the honest opinion, it's a difficult question, but sort of a reasonably good answer on we could probably ban that in tropical timber, if you like. It's probably a 7 to 10 year window now of random width lumber coming out of tropical areas. But to counter this, the wealthier mills, the mills that invest, they're investing in value added at source, if you like. So I've just been lucky enough to go to the Congo, and I've seen one of our main FSC Sapele producers have invested millions of dollars in a new lamination plant for engineered wood products. So they're all thinking ahead and the future and what will be worthwhile for export. Instead of they can't carry on as they are exporting random lumber. They have to add value to it and make use of other materials that are in those parts of the world.
Yeah, I mean, for me, engineered timber is the way forward. But I mean, I've been conditioned to use that for the last 20 odd years now. Not just because it takes all the defects out, but it also reduces labour within the factory. There's no ripping, sawing, sorting, lifting heavy boards, 25% waste all the time. So it makes sense to use engineered material, but you've got to design your product around those sticks, really, those sizes, which isn't difficult to do, to be honest. So I mean, obviously you've introduced over the last number of years Red Grandis, which is how is that being perceived in the UK and the rest of the rest of the world, really? I suppose I don't know how Euroform are doing with that product. I know they sell it in lots of countries.
They're successful. They export to nearly every continent in the world now. Owen, USA is a really big market for them. Huge amounts coming to Europe in engineered products and lumber, and obviously still a lot goes to Asia because they still have that that Chinese garden furniture, or Southeast Asia, if you like, where they turn it into furniture. But certainly, as far as joinery, they're still growing. They've just purchased another 40,000 hectares of land in Uruguay, which will be harvested and turned into Red Grandis, if you like, in time. I know that'll be another 25 years before it reaches it, but certainly they just invested in land. So they're a very strong partner to us, and they're the sort of partners we need now and everybody needs, because they're going to be around forever. When tropical timber does decline, certainly something like Red Grandis will be here, and the investment they're making in the mill now is substantial.
Is there any feedback from customers about Red Grandis at all that we know? I mean, I speak to a lot of them. I mean, timber being timber still moves to a degree, as we know. Providing you design your product right, you don't tend to have any major issues. I know you've got the anti-bend product on the market now, and but I still get customers saying, "Oh, I can't seem to get hold of that, or I don't know where it comes from," or is that something you're stocking? Because I know you work with Holt Schiller to do lots of designed laminated sections. How is that sort of being stocked, and how do we get this information out to our customers?
Well, supply on Grandis went through traumatic times, as every product did during COVID. Everybody wanted wood, and we could only have a certain amount. But certainly the supply of Red Grandis is right back to normal now. We can buy as much or as little as we need, which we do. We buy plenty of material now. So actually supply is back to normal. I'll say this now, and I can imagine the first thing after this is someone's going to need something we haven't got. That always happens. But in terms of supply, we're back to normal, Owen. There's a lot of wood available in Red Grandis. In terms of the anti-bend product, I was only talking to Schiller a couple of days ago. That's that continues to be a really fast growing product for them, for the continent of Europe. Most people like to make their doors in that particular anti-bend product.
Yeah. There is one thing I do promote a lot when I go around, because I know how good it is in relation to stability. A lot of customers don't lock their doors off every day, so you get this positive, negative wind pressure that tends to bow doors. So if you use the anti-bend stuff, even if you just use it on your styles, it makes such a difference to the product stability and longevity. So and you do it in about 3 or 4 different species as well. So
so predominantly it's held up Perfect Depot, which is our main timber depot, if you like. But certainly there's various species. We've got Grandis is the headliner, because that's the easy one, and we've got some major joinery companies that wouldn't use anything else for their doors now, because it just works, whether it painted black or under extreme conditions, it just stays straight.
And one of the good things about, I mean, you sent me a sheet a few months back now, is Red Grandis is a very good insulator. Which means for our thermals, when we're looking at U values for hardwood products, it's actually as good as a Accoya.
Yes,
which is that was a surprise to me, but amazing result. So it means we can have hardwood windows that will meet the same values as softwood windows, which is and doors and various products. And it's been difficult to get doors down to the 1.4s, 1.3s, but with Red Grandis, that's going to give us an easier opportunity to achieve that. And then from that, we have to obviously look at glass and all of those things. So
Yes.
obviously, a coir is obviously one of your main sellers as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing lots of that's still being used an awful lot around the UK.
Yes, it is. Supply is, everybody went through trauma with a coir on supply. Because literally there just was hardly anything around a few years ago. But that new USA plant is now up and running that they invested in. So that will take the pressure off Arnhem, and ultimately will make even more product available in the market now, Owen. So there is one available now, but there will be even more so, and probably at this time next year.
Okay, well that's good to know. Well, obviously we're testing coir pretty much imminently. We've done double doors, we're doing single doors in the next few weeks, so that's quite useful to know. The other thing, obviously, customers are always talking to me about is getting hold of the insulated panels, the boards, the sandwich boards. Always seem to find issues with stocks. I mean, I know the cost they moan about, but that's just what it is. What is Latham's doing to keep? I mean, is there something we can do as the Joinery Network, maybe to get bulk supplies and get all our customers to agree to have a board each, which means 60 boards per time, and then you can stock more? Is there something we can do with that?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea, and we could probably talk after this about how we manage it. It's been a bit spasmodic up to now. I mean, we do keep them, and they're kept predominantly in Purfleet again. And Latham's do have a very successful overnight trunk system. So if somebody did want someone in Leeds and it was in Purfleet, it can go up on this overnight trunk system that we have. So it's not just based in the southeast. That's where you can buy it from. You can buy it from any of our depots. But I think we do need to have a little bit of a conversation, Owen, about committing a little bit to each other on these products, because not all the depots even understand what they are, which is annoying.
Yes.
No matter how many times you tell them, but some people like to.
I think that is what I think the noise out there is. People want them, the ones who understand it, my customers, and they say, well, they struggle to get hold of them, or there's a long lead time because you've then got to restock the products. And you making one board isn't beneficial. If you can make a pack of 20 at a time, and I can move those 20, that's definitely going to help.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's something obviously we can speak after this. I mean, obviously, is there anything new that Latham's are doing or the industry's doing? Is there things changing? I mean, you spoke about what you're doing in the Congo and obviously over there, the laminations. What else? Is there anything else?
I think as far as engineered products are, we're bringing the OLAM opportunity. The FSC Sapedi will come on, and there will be people that like FSC. Like Sapedi over Grandis. That's just the way it is. So that will come later, probably later this year, Owen. So there'll be opportunity there. But obviously on Sapedi, you'll know that the thermal rating won't be there that you need. Certainly, the more we're doing now is fully finished components. Probably for the stair industry, that's probably the bigger thing at the moment that we're doing. We're finding fully finished components for painted white staircases. That's become quite a large part of our business. And of course, the carbon store is really important. We can support all the customers with the carbon store if customers are talking about it and I want to know information, because obviously it's a big point in the world today, not just the environment,
absolutely,
carbon and things like that. So all our delivery notes and invoices actually have all the, I don't know if everybody's noticed, but if you want it, we can actually put it on all our paperwork, the captured carbon on products to deliver to our warehouse, if you like. So if that can help anybody, that we can provide that information.
Well, I think it's very, very useful. I mean, some of the smaller joinery companies probably don't even look at that aspect of it, and but it should be. We're all using a self-sustainable, the only self-sustainable material in the world, so it makes sense to promote this to our customers, to say how good we are. We're embodying carbon. We're looking after the planet. We're doing our bit if we can. So it makes perfect sense. Maybe that's something we ought to do a little piece on with the Joinery Network to explain to customers how we can help promote this and attract customers to us right over the PVC market, for sure.
Yeah, we can help with all that, whether it's environmental, carbon, anything you want. It's just a question of asking us. And on product as well, Owen, it goes two ways. It's not us keep coming up with products all the time. If customers think there's something they could really work with and it would really help them, then just ask us, because we're very open and we've got a tremendous supply chain throughout the world that can source all sorts of products. There's very little that we can't get for people if there's something out there that the Joinery Network wants or a particular customer wants.
Yeah, well, I think the joinery network we need to look at this collectively, because we are probably, all of our joiners together, are one of the biggest joinery manufacturers collectively in the UK now. So,
Yeah.
you know, we've got some buying power there potentially. It'd be ideal to get them all together and say, look, what do you want? What are you looking for? What are the species we can offer? And then we can set up supply chains. Makes it perfect sense.
Absolutely.
Okay, lovely. Thanks, Justin. Thanks for your enlightening us on what Latham's are.